Hi, I'm Alex Regg and welcome to Pulling Focus. Today we're going to have a look at the latest film in the long-running Underworld series, Underworld Blood Wars, alongside what you could almost call its sister series, Resident Evil. Personally, I'm rather fond of both the original films. They're not flawless, but they're fun and they create compelling worlds and they have kick-ass female leads in Kate Beckinsale and Milla Jovovich. The Underworld series started in 2003, while Resident Evil started in 2002, and there is a reason why audiences have been going back to both of them for over a decade.
The vampire and Lycan clans have been at war for centuries, turning our world into a battlefield.
Are you with me?
For me, the fight is personal. Everyone I've ever loved has been hunted down. Now a new war is being waged.
Underworld Blood Wars, on the other hand, it's a bit of a disaster. That was the first half of the new trailer, and you might notice that it's all from earlier films in the series. There's a reason for that, what I guess I would call sequel deterioration. The first sequel, as far as anyone can tell, was The Fall of a Nation, directed by Thomas Dixon Jr., a sequel to D.W. Griffith's technically brilliant and unquestionably racist Birth of a Nation. The sequel failed to ignite the box office like the original had, and all copies are now thought to be lost. But it's pretty interesting to note that the film industry has been trying to capitalise on past successes with sequels since as early as 1916. In the case of Blood Wars, every classic problem you'd expect from being 6 films deep into a series is present. Huge chunks of backstory now have to be explained in the opening scroll, and these long-winded technical explanations don't really stop throughout the film. The cinematic premise of show don't tell has well and truly left the building.
They don't advertise for killers in a newspaper. That was my profession. Ex-cop. Ex-Blade Runner. Ex-killer.
Resident Evil is the zombie film to Underworld's vampires, and Miller has been regularly dishing out a savage undead beatdown for over a decade now.
10 years ago in Raccoon City, there was an outbreak. It spread across the world within days.
One way or another, our world is coming to an end. The question is, will we end with it?
Like Underworld, Resident Evil has followed the cliched path of getting weaker with each subsequent outing. Although I admit a slight soft spot for the second film, Resident Evil Apocalypse, and the mid-series prequel, Rise of the Lycans, respectively. The lead women in both the series are military specialists, who start off badass and then get stronger as the series continue. In both cases, this power comes alongside ideas of genetic improvement and biological modification. In Resident Evil, this comes through Alice's infection and subsequent mutation of the T-virus, a nasty disease that mostly just turns people into flesh-eating zombies, but occasionally, as in the case of our Miller, into a super soldier. In Underworld, we have a very similar situation, where Selene manages to gain werewolf advantages to add to her vampire powers, when she becomes one with the Corvinus strain hybrid by drinking the blood of the vampire Alexander.
What will I become?
The future.
Both series feature the classic Superman problem of what do you do when your central character levels up to the point where they're the ones who are supposed to win every fight. Notably, the first film in each series started our ladies with significant combat abilities, but limited ones, not outrageous ones. Later on the other hand, they do get silly. It's hard to worry too much about a character who's essentially a walking nuclear bomb. Both original films were also disliked by critics, but well received by fans, building enduring franchises and making over $100 million apiece, on budgets of under 35. That's pretty good. Now we're up to 5 Underworld films, with a 6th in development. As for Resident Evil, we're also at 5, although there's a new Resident Evil out at the end of the year. Can it salvage our low expectations? It will take quite some finger crossing to do so. Fun fact. Resident Evil is an adaptation of Capcom's survival horror video games. And Underworld? While I'm not saying that it came from Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game, the 80 points of unique similarity claimed by the company White Wolf in their lawsuit, and the confidential settlement between the producers of the original film and the makers of the game, certainly makes you think there might be some sort of connection. Oh, and both lead actresses married the directors of their original films. Miller marrying Paul W.S. Anderson, and Kate marrying Len Wiseman. Love is in the air. Also, vampires and zombies.
Come closer, my child.